everyone. It's Sunday again. I have to apologise for last week. There was no live stream last week when there should have been. That was because a member of the family was quite ill, and we were just dealing with that. But they've they're okay at the minute. So that's why there was no live stream last week. But I'm doing live stream tonight, and there will be another one next week as well, and then we'll get back on track that way. So how has everyone been doing? How's everyone go? How's everything in everybody? And we'll get to the comments. But yeah, a little bit of a downer though as well this week. So not just what's been going on in the family. I received issues 97, 98, 99 and 100 of the Alien build this week. I've also noticed, I know they've got big problems in France at the moment, but I've noticed over the last couple of deliveries I've had from France that they're now taking about 8 or 9 days, where before it was about three or 4 days maximum. It's now double that. Now, obviously, I know there's problems at Royal Mail as well. France are having a problem, but I'm just wanting to point that out as well. If you're ordering anything from there from France, it's taking a little bit longer than normal to come through. So, but anyway, so go back. So a little bit of downer. It wasn't a downer that I've got them. I built issues 97 and 98. When I got to issue 99, now issue 99 of the Alien build is all the electrics effectively. So it's the motherboard for the Alien. It's all the sensors as well for the Alien. It's also the remote control and the circuits and the battery pack, and all of that is in issue 99. So I get it, I start recording, and the circuit board doesn't work. I then try other battery packs on it that I've got here, and it just wasn't working. So I was like, okay, not a biggie, I'll just order another one. And it's sold out. It's the only issue on their website that is sold out, and I don't know why. It's a really weird thing, actually. I've noticed this with a lot of builds from France, especially that site, is a lot of the electricals issues seem to sell out instantly. I don't really know why, but yeah, it was a bit of a bummer. So I've decided I'm still building it. I've still got issue 100 here. It's just sitting here, but I'm hoping it's in stock in a couple of weeks' time and I can order it. But they do have a restock. I'll make that as well, is that they do get a restock in. It just takes a while to come in. So I'm hoping that a restock happens soon so I can grab issue 99. Otherwise, I'm stuck, because not only does issue 99 have all the electricals in it, it also encloses the whole thing. So it's the moment we put the head on and the two parts of the back and the front of the chest, and we sort of screw everything together, and it comes alive in essence, because issue 100 is just the dome and the rest of the base. That's it. That's all that's in issue 100. So yeah. So I don't know whether or not to fit it just without any electrics, but I don't want to do that, because that's obviously part of the build as well. But it was just a bit of a downer that I come that far and now I'm stopped, because it's the only issue that's out of stock. If you go online, it's the only issue out of stock. So either there's problems like I've had, or people are just buying them up. Like I said, I have noticed that with a lot of the electrical issues for other builds as well, they tend to sell out really quickly, but they do get a restock in. So I'm just going to hope that they do a restock soon, and I can get it before it goes all onto my channel. So I've recorded everything. It's just getting around to sort of processing it and editing it. That's the thing that's taking a bit of time at the minute, is the editing and the processing. Other than that, it's all built, it's all filmed. It's just got to be edited and processed, and that just takes time. And I've got other things to review, and it's trying to figure out which ones to do, and they are going to be on there, don't you worry. But yeah, so I'm hoping by the time I've released issue 98, I've ordered issue 99, and it's either comes here or it's here before then. But yeah, I tried all the different little sockets on it. It's got to be something to do with the power point on it, or there's a problem with the board. But I can't believe I got so far, and yet we're so near, sort of thing, but so far. Because it's everything. I don't know why they've done that as well, where they've supplied all of the electrics all in one issue. But it is what it is. So, hi Scott, thanks for joining us. Neil as well. Hi Neil. Ian, hi Ian, the man there. Chris, hi Chris. Jeffrey, Kev, no problems with mine from France. Parcel Force deliver mine. Yeah, they've been delivering mine, but I have noticed it's just taken a little bit longer now. Like I said, I know there's problems in France at the minute, and Royal Mail are having problems as well. And Parcel Force is a branch off of Royal Mail. But yeah, I've noticed that it's taken about eight or 9 days to get to me. Obviously, or logistic wise, it all depends on where you live as well. So, but I am getting them. They're arriving fine. So, I'm waiting for a couple of Robocops to come back in stock from as well. Yeah, they will come back into stock. I have noticed that what they tend to do is they tend to have a couple of restocks as it's being built, and then when it's finished, maybe like a couple of weeks or a month or so after it's been finished, they do another final restock before they take it off, sort of thing. So I think after about 3 or 4 months being released, they remove it. So I'm hoping that it's in before that happens. Otherwise, mine won't have any electric, so I can still build it, because it's literally issue 99 is literally just the motherboard and the remote. So effectively, I could still clamp it together. I can still build it. It just won't have any of the electrics. But yeah, so I'm hoping. I'm on issue 70 Robocop, and they are taking a few days each issue. Probably finish the end of the year. Yeah, I think Robocop's finishes in France. I think it's about September time, because that's only 100 issues. Now I have got some issues here, and it's just getting time. I've been concentrating a lot on the Alien build at the minute, and then I've got me Batman and the Doll's House, which I always tend to get out on a Wednesday, and then it's trying to find a bit of time to sort of slot some Robocop in. But at the moment, the Alien is sort of prioritising over a few things. So, yeah. Steve, hi Alexis. When you starting the Robocop build, I've got issues here. I've got up to issue 50. I think it's 56. I've got here. So I should be soon. But like I said, now I've sort of finished the Alien build, and I'm slowly now going through the backlog of editing and processing those videos. What I will do is then I'll start recording the Robocop ones, and they should start cropping up soon as well. But it's just taking a bit of time. Just trying to find a bit of time to build it, then to edit it, because it's not like a quick process of editing and putting stuff on. It just takes a bit of time. It's quicker to record it than it is to sort of edit it, and it's just finding a bit of time where I can do it all at like once, if you know what I mean. But it should be soon. It should be soon. Evening, Dave. How's it going, David? Yeah. So at the moment, if you've noticed, with my Alien build, I'm doing 2 issues at a time because we've been building a leg up. Issue 73 will be on. So I've got issue 70 and 71. I think that's going to go on the channel tomorrow. issue 72 and 73 will be on probably the Tuesday, and that's when we finish. We finish the leg at that point, and then I'll be doing the videos as normal, because I've been rushing through the leg, not really showing the build process of it, just because we've done that before, so it's a little bit quicker. And but after issue 73, we start getting one video for each issue again, just because we're sort of moving away from that, and we're sort of building the pelvis and the tail and all that sort of stuff, so you can sort of see it come together a bit more. But yeah, there should be a sort of a rush on issues hitting the channel. So yeah, and then there will be once I've processed all them, they're all on the channel, there will be a sort of a run up of a lot of issues coming out of the RoboCop, because like I said, I haven't had time to build that, because like I said, I've been building the Alien and other things. But yeah. Right, now where are we? Kenneth, afternoon from Georgia. Hello, love your videos, Kevin channel. Thank you very much. Have you heard any rough news about Fan Home or going live with the Gauntlet and Optimus Prime? I don't know about the Gauntlet. I know Optimus Prime is definitely going live in June. So I would imagine by the end of June, you should start receiving issues. The Enterprise build, I've heard that we should hear something this month in April. But once again, I don't expect them to start shipping out issues until June. So June might be quite a sort of a busy month if you're collecting stuff. I don't know about the Gauntlet, but it's on the website. I think it says about Optimus Prime. It's June. So like I said, probably the end of June, July, we start receiving issues. But you can start putting in your details and everything in June, I do believe. And the Enterprise is, I've been told, they're hoping, fingers crossed, you'll be able to sign up and everything in this month, April, which is, they're hoping, but that's why they've not mentioned anything yet, because there's no concrete information on that. But they're hoping for April sign up for the Enterprise build, and then shipping in June time. So just so you know where everyone is, I suppose. I believe the RoboCop sound will be French. Yes, it is. You're right. Like Knight Rider will need some kind of I did see that. Yeah. The sound card should be programmable, Ian. Yeah. A lot of the sound. Do you know what? I found that out as well. A lot of the sound cards are. So if you look, a lot of the sound cards that you get for a lot of these part works. I found this out because a friend of mine does railway builds and stuff like that. And he said what you'll have is sometimes on the board you'll have one for the power and then one for the sound and the buttons and that. And you'll have an extra one which doesn't really do anything. And he said that's the one that can program it. So, yeah, I would expect so. But yeah, I have heard it comes out in French. In regards to the RoboCop, I don't think we're going to get that over here. It was on a limited release in France, and we don't really know. There's still a lot of speculation about why it was on a limited release and why you now can't subscribe to it. But obviously, it's still coming out in their news agents over there. And there was talk. I remember when it first came out, there was talk about Fan Home doing it. I would have thought that if it was going to come out by Fan Home, they would have already announced it along with like the Gauntlet, Optimus Prime and stuff like that, which they haven't. So it sort of shows me that it's not coming out for the foreseeable, but that doesn't mean it's not going to come out. But yeah, a lot of people were a bit shocked that it was a limited release and they've sort of pulled the subscription on it. But it is what it is. But yeah, so I don't know about it coming to the UK, but it is French. So yeah, I will need the expertise on someone who can do us a mod for that. That would be brilliant. But yeah, I should get there eventually. But yeah, I should get there eventually. Evening, Steve. How's it all going? But yeah, I don't think there's been no new news, so I don't think there's been any new part works coming out or tested at the moment. It's their lull period now. We're coming up to their financial years, like the financial year and stuff. So April. So this is where it's a lot of quietness. I know the Optimus Prime from Agora is due out sometime, or should people should start receiving it in April. But yeah. But yeah, in regards to that one as well, it's a bit of a weird one. I did put a post up because I just felt it needed to be explained a little bit. Really, after seeing World of Wayne's video, it's definitely not a G1 Optimus Prime. There's a few elements of it, but it's like a mishmash between two Optimus Prime versions. But yeah, I mean, it looks okay. But I still prefer the movie version over it. But yeah, it looks okay. There was a lot of what struck me as well was the gluing of the parts. There was a bit of gluing to be had on it, and I was a bit surprised by that because not apart from the Alien build where it's just glue. There's not a lot of gluing in a lot of these builds, but what I've noticed over the years is that a lot more stuff is needing to be glued on the builds instead of sort of screwed on or clipped in. Like I said, a lot more stuff now seems to be glued, which is okay, but I know there was a few people questioning that sort of thing. Why are we gluing a lot of these models now? I mean, I've had enough glue to last me a lifetime with the Alien build. I'll be quite happy if I don't ever see glue again. Yeah. Anyway, how is everyone finding the Alien build at the moment? I know a lot of people have already received their first packet, and that's got the first. I think it's got the first 4 issues in it, which are the okay. Yeah, I think the first 4 issues you get, don't you? You haven't got into the nitty gritty yet of that build, but yeah. Yeah, I've spoken to a few people in France about it as well, and 4 people in the UK that have been building it as well, and I've been talking to them, and we're sort of all in agreement. But yeah, if you've watched my builds and you're watching them, you'll know what it's like. And then once it's fully built, I'll do a big reveal on the channel, and I will do a full breakdown of what's good and what's not. I don't know. You know, I don't want to hash on it. I don't want to say, you know, it's bad. You build what you want, but and you go ahead with it. I'm almost certain some people will find it incredibly frustrating, but I also know some people probably won't. And there's easier ways of doing stuff and stuff like that. But when you're recording it and you're trying to put it down, it's become frustrating build. Let's put it that way. It improves. It improves after you've done the legs and the hands. It improves massively after that. It fits together a lot more better, I would say. Oh yeah, Ian, I did drop you a message saying that there is a few mods that could be done for the Alien build. And I've been busy doing other things, and I've really forgot to message you back, so sorry about that. But I can tell you a few right now if you want. So that's the tail. So the first mod I reckon there could be, and that's for the tail. So the tail is connected via Velcro. You get these 2 big Velcro pads, and they sort of Velcro together. It's quite to be fair, it's quite a strong bond, but it is Velcro. So there's that. So I've spoken to some people in France as well. It's all these bits that I'm going to say are like a 50-50. Some people have said they've had problems with it. Other people said they haven't. I haven't had a problem with the tail. But I know a lot of people have, and a lot of people thought that it would be a better solution. But the tail is attached via Velcro. It's like it's like a hexagon shape. One bit goes inside where the tail goes in the arse, basically, and then the tail connects into it. It's just gripped in by two big bits of Velcro, effectively. Yes, Ian. Yeah, Velcro. Velcro. Yeah. Is the Alien bigger than the Terminator build? It is. Yeah, but I will say this: you won't be able to get a sort of perspex to put it in. I know some people said, and some people were grabbing the perspex to go over the Terminator, which could just slide over the top. The problem with the Alien is the tail comes out quite a way, so it's sort of, it's not posable, and it sort of swoops down and comes out like this, and it's about, I would say, about that far away. It comes quite over the base as well. So if you're going to put it in a perspex sort of box or something like that, it would need to be a lot bigger than the base is. That's for sure. The second thing is the 4 pipes on the back. So the 4 pipes on the back, the panel that sits right on the back of it is it's a big panel. It's held together by the little round magnets. That's it. You take that off to access the on-off switch and the battery pack, and it's the 4 pipes together. They're held in by a big plate, which is then magnetic onto the back, and it's only being held, I believe, by 6 or 7 little magnets. The little round magnets that you use for the skin, it's using the same magnets for that. Once again, I haven't had a problem with it, though I would imagine if I knocked it, it would fall straight off. It's quite weighty, that section, and lots of people said the magnets don't hold. I've had some people say that they've not had a problem with the magnets. I haven't, and it seems to hold all right. But like I said, a little knock, I reckon it would just fall straight off. But once again, someone said actually the Velcro would be better attached to the back plate for the pipes, because it would hold it better than the little, I don't know why they chose the little tiny magnets to stick it on with, but you do need to pull it off if you want it accessed, if you need it accessed for the battery pack and the on-off switch. It's also worth noting that I would like a power mod for it. But the problem is the wires coming out of the power mod, because then the back plate wouldn't sit flush. I think you'd have to cut a little section out for the wire to come out to go in the plug and that, because it wouldn't sit flush with a power mod in there. It just wouldn't sit flush. You would have to mod the back plate for it. But I would like that. I think it would work a lot better with that. But obviously I can't. I'm hoping that the electric boards can test it out. And last but not least, Ian, is the base. So the base of it is just plastic. It's hollow. There's no plastic bit that goes on the bottom like with the Terminator build. It's just completely hollow. And there's no lights on it, no sound effects on that section or anything. It's just a standard plastic base, which could easily be modded with sound effects and spotlights as well, which I'm really surprised they didn't do, because they've done it for the Terminator build and it works really well. But for the Alien build, it's just a standard base. I'm surprised they didn't add, like I said, a sound effects on it, or some holes for putting spotlights in it. That's for sure. But it hasn't got any of that. It's a very basic base. It comes in 6, 7, 8, 9 sections. It comes in, and like I said, it just screws in together, and there's nothing on the bottom of it. It's completely hollow. No sound, no lights in it whatsoever. So yeah, but like I said, there is definitely room for modification on it. That's for sure. Now it's finished, Hi, Jay. How's it going? I hope you're all well. I hope you're well. Ian, okay. Kev, let's catch up during the week. Yeah, let's do that. Hi, Mark. How's it going? So, yeah, they're the bits really that I think could be. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the skin could have been done better. But with a lot of these builds, you tend to find out you after they're finished, you tend to go, oh, that could have been better. Could have done that a lot better. But it is what it is. But I think I told Jay and Mark that some parts of it broke me, physically broke me. Some parts. I will say this: it looks awesome, like fully built. When mine is working, but as it is now, it looks really good. But it is. I can't believe I'm even going to say it. It was the worst build I've ever done, and I've done the DeLorean. It's the worst build. It's. I know some people are going to build this and are going to go, "This is fantastic. This is really good." I know some people are going to be so frustrated with it as well. I hope it doesn't break people. I mean, doing the legs and the arms. Oh yeah, it broke me. there was moments I could have launched it. That's for sure. It's just the skin. It was just a horrible idea. There was ways. I think they could have done it better. That's just put it that way. There could have been better ways to go about it. That's all right, Greg. You've got a flat tire. That's all right, mate. Don't worry. But yeah, and I will reveal all of this when I do my full breakdown of it. Like I said, there are some bits that are really good on it, but other times, yeah. If you're going ahead and build it, I would say really, really take your time. Do not rush it. Just don't rush it. Really take your time. And I've done a solution in the next. I don't know how. Did I do the solution already? I can't remember the video now. But I was looking at solutions to hold the parts together more. So a friend of mine in France, they said you can use like Jubilee clips or clamps. Another guy said to use cable ties. And so I've got a load of cable ties lying around, and I thought, you know what? I've done the arm, I've done the legs. I was doing the last day, and I thought, do you know what? I've pained and suffered over the toe. Why didn't I do that before? But I used cable ties. So I put it over, I glued it, I put it over, I pulled the cable ties on it and glued again along the seams. And you'll see it all on the videos anyway when I come to doing it. And it seems to hold a lot better because of pulling it tighter and stretching it round. It works a lot better with cable ties. So if you're going to do it, I would say secure the rubber parts onto the inner side of the arm with cable ties. It seems to hold a lot better. And obviously, the longer you leave it on with the glue, the longer that will hold. And then obviously, when you cut them off, it should be fine. But yeah, there is. It's a bit like the Terminator. I think once you get a pose for it, that's it. Never move it again. That's my plan anyway. If the Batman gets released over here, will Hachette do it online only? That I believe only. I don't think they are. The reason is because the Alien build is also a joint it's done in conjunction with Agora. So the reason it's set up like it is it's based on the Agora model, and the only thing that I can think of why they've done that is because it works for Agora, so they're sort of trialing it. Obviously, if it goes well, then they will run it out, I think, to other builds because, you know, like I said, though, over COVID and things like that, I think a lot of people were doing the part works and the drum was louder. You know, we've been beating this drum. Lots of people wanted full builds straight away. people wanted more issues, even if that meant paying more, sort of every month, and yeah, every month, and over COVID and things like that, I think that drum got louder and louder and louder, and the voices got louder, and so they went, okay, look, we are listening. You wanted the builds, you wanted more parts. Here we go. So the Alien is their sort of way of trialing the Agora mod, the Agora sort of program, if you know what I mean. It's the same way they do with Agora. So I don't think Agora are going to offer it to UK customers at the moment, because if you go on Agora's website, the Alien is only up on the US side. It's not on the UK side. So it looks like if you want the Alien build for Agora, it looks like they're only doing it through the US. I don't know though how it all works out, but that is what it is. But yeah, I think if it works out, you also as well, you've got to think lots of people have been asking for more issues. It's one of the reasons why it's a good business sense, because what's happening is they're posting out more issues to you, but paying less in postage. So we get more issues, though we do have to pay for more. They have to pay less postage, so that means that they can keep costs lower. And so I think that's one of the reasons why they've chosen to do 6 issues over the standard 4, which they did. So with the Tumblr, if you subscribe, you're getting 6 issues every 6 weeks, which means you're getting more issues, waiting longer, but it's costing them less, if you know what I mean. But I believe that model of the 6 issues is also done because of customs and stuff like that. Cheaper for them, but it's something that the community have been asking for a while. So I also believe the Enterprise, Eleanor, DeLorean, all those models, the Gauntlet, I believe Optimus Prime as well, are all going to be done in 6s. So I think you'll get 6 issues either every month or every 6 weeks from Fan Home as well. So it looks like the normal method of getting 4 issues every 4 weeks, I think that's over. I think we're going to get more issues, but wait longer for them each time, each subscription, which is okay, but it means we're waiting a lot longer. I don't know if the Batman will come out in the newsagents. That all depends on how well the Alien's done. So, yeah. If that makes any sense. Now, Aliens fish, we need a Predator to go with it. As long as it doesn't have the rubber, I'll be quite happy if they bring it out, and if they bring it out, it's going to have that rubber skin, and I would have to say no. I'm afraid it's unless they improved it, which I don't think they will. I can see. I mean, they've already gone ahead and sort of gone, oh, well, we'll test it out on the ET build. So I'm wondering if they will have the same problems with that build as they've had with the Alien build. But yeah, Scott, I would definitely build a Predator figure, only if it didn't have that rubber skin, which I think it would need. I mean, it's a pain to do, but in all fairness, I don't think you could get that look any other way. I don't think there was a way of doing it other than obviously there's better ways of doing the skin, but I mean, with the rubber skin, I think that's the best way they could have done it, because the bits that are plastic on it, which is the tail and the pipes, they're not as good, and you can tell the difference straight away. But yeah. I would do a Predator, but only if it was rubber skin. But I don't know how well that would come across if it wasn't. The rubber skin definitely helps, just doesn't help building it. So I think, like I said, there could have been ways around it. I think it could have been a solid piece, so a rubber bit that you pulled over instead of stitching together with magnets. I think if it was a more malleable sort of material that you could stretch over, other than sort of building up and putting on. And then it's the pipes as well. How do you get that effect? I think the effect is really good. I think it works really well with the rubber. It's just building it. If you really want the alien, get someone else to build it. That's what I would, just not me. I ain't doing it. But get someone else to build it, and then you just have to finish the article. It looks really good. I like the look of it at the end. But yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare today. It's going to be interesting with it coming out. I'm surprised as well. I don't think I've seen any of YouTubers building it. I haven't come across anyone actually building it yet. So the ET build looked good in France. Was that the rubber as well? I do believe it was. In fact, I think it was thinner than the rubber that they used on the alien, because I think the only rubber that they got, the only rubber skin that they got was, I think, for the face, and I think it was a lot thinner. But some people were saying it's very similar. So yeah, it's like I say, it's a difficult one, and I think it's because when you get parts, you have to stitch together, and then obviously those parts have to then really stretch round, sort of skin tight, if you know what I mean, on the inner structure, and then you have to clamp it, and you have to pull it and stretch it round, and because the rubber's quite thick as well, there's no sort of play in it. So yeah. I don't want to put anybody off. I'm not doing a good job of it, really, am I? I'm not an advocate of the alien build. It is just, I can only tell you what my experience was. You might have a different one, but you can only go ahead with me. Watch some of the guys building it in France as well, because they had problems. The way you film it, I want to show you, if I've had problems, I'm going to tell you. And I want to show you, like, I think I've done a video, I'm not too sure if I've done the video yet, of me showing you my hands, which are just completely covered in glue. Because when you stitch it and you glue it and you're holding it, your hands are sticking to it. And as soon as your hands stick to it and you pull it away, it pulls the skin apart and you have to re-glue it there. Yes. I'm going to have flashbacks for years. You know, when I was doing the Root Master build, a lot of people were saying you'd have flashbacks of the little red screws when you do the beading on it. The alien build, I think, is going to join that nightmare. So that's for sure. One thing is for sure: you are not going to be hired by Hachette to do the marketing for the alien. No. You come to me to get an honest review, and I'm telling you it honest. There's a lot of YouTubers out there obviously get their stuff from Hachette, and that's all good, but I don't think you could say the things I was saying if you were giving it, if you know what I mean. That's for sure. I know that was the case for Fan Home when they came to me, as you all know. But yeah, I think if they gave me that, after me starting the arm, I think, and after me saying stuff, I think they would have pulled it straight away. They went, "No, don't send him anymore. No, we're cutting ties. You're not doing it any favours." But yeah, like I said, there are a few other problems with it, like the Velcro tail, the base with nothing there, the pipes on the back, the 4 pipes on the back being held on with little tiny magnets. You do ask these questions, especially when you're building a lot of these models. You do ask why they done this. Why have they gone down this route? Yeah, I could say I'm really bad. I think it must have been thought up by a madman. Oh, I know it would be good. Let's try and break them. Yeah. I used to be like that when I held my BlackBerry shop. I was always reviewing stuff with full-on honesty. Hence, I never got anything for free. Yeah, yeah. And I've promised that on my channel from day one. Everything that I get on my channel is I have had some bits, actually. I will admit I have had some bits sent to me as gifts from Eaglemoss when they were about, and I was completely honest in those reviews. But 99.1% of my stuff I buy, so it's my own review. So yeah, what you see is what you get with me. And I mean, I bought this recently, so when I review this, it will be an honest review. And that's the good thing about it as well. I'm not endorsed by any of these companies, so I can sort of get away with it, especially when you're spending your own money. So yeah, yeah. But yeah, I shouldn't really hash on it like I do, but yeah, I have to be honest, and that's the only thing I can say. You learn from your from the techniques building it, and then you pass that over. So yeah. It's rare nowadays, but at least no BS. Yeah. I think a lot of YouTube channels, they get stuff, and you know, I sometimes think, especially when they're reviewing figures and you know, stuff, and they've said they've been sent it, I do often think, how honest is their review? You know, you do get that, you know, at the end of the day, they're being given the stuff, and in the back of my mind, there's always a sense of, is that right? You know what I mean? No, what they're saying, is that actually it or something? You know what I mean? I just kind of think, like you're saying, a little bit of BS to promote stuff, and that's what they're there to do. And I found, like I said, I never worked for any of these companies, and my contact within in Eaglemoss, he was the one sending me stuff. It wasn't. It was never from higher ups. No one approached me from in the company. I got talking to someone on a group. They happened to work at Eaglemoss. They said some stuff fell onto their desk, and they just passed it on to me, and I gave them an honest review. But yeah, once I remember, just with my conversation with D'Agostini and Fanhome, is I will never get anything from them. That's for sure. Yeah, but it is what it is. I think, you know, and a lot of these people, a lot of the people get a lot of the stuff early as well, which is cool. You can see it, but yeah, sometimes I do think, okay, is that really what you think? You know, sometimes I do think that it's nothing against them or anybody else, but yeah, I do feel sometimes like that. There's a guy actually called Sam Trains, if you've ever seen him. Now he reviews Hornby products, but he gives you an honest review. So he gets stuff sent to him from Hornby every now and then, but the review he gives, sometimes the stuff he's given can be quite brutal, and I'm surprised that they keep going back to him. So with some of the stuff he says, but like, you know, you do get an honest review from him, whether he's been sent it or not, you know. So it's possibly the same in every endorsed deal. You get a contract, you get stuff sent, and you're obliged to kind of push the product and build hype. Yeah, and that's exactly what D'Agostini was doing when I was approached by them. Was you know, endorsement is cheaper than a classic marketing campaign. I think that's why it's everywhere. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if especially with YouTube as well, because you're engaging with the actual audience that's building it, and like saying, it's, you know, with them trying to put in media and stuff like that, it's, you know, on their own channel they can't promote anywhere else, but if they give someone else something and then they can promote it and it brings in sales, I can see that. But like I said, if you're working for a company and then you trash them, I suppose they're in their right mind to pull it or what as well. So, and because of the way I work, I'm not endorsed by a lot of these companies, so they can't stop any of the material. So I know for a fact they don't like me telling you when new builds are coming out and when they're test builds, and you know, when I hear on the grapevine and stuff when new builds are coming out or stuff's going to be dropped, I know they hate that. I know when Eaglemoss was in trouble and I broke the story of them going bankrupt, they didn't like that neither. In fact, I got quite a few emails telling me to take down the video, which I didn't do because I was under no contract, no nothing. And I thought that it was wrong with them continuing to sell products, even though they couldn't deliver them, even though they had the problems. Yeah, they couldn't stop me. Once I found out, they couldn't stop me from putting the video out. But I did get quite a few emails from people within the company to tell me to take it down. But obviously I didn't apply because that's covering something. So, yeah. But, yeah, you're totally right there, Greg. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than the normal campaigning measure. If you want something, you give something for free for someone, and then they're officially, you know, it's free promotion, isn't it? So, yeah, and they hype, and then they get, and then, you know, they hype the build, and then that generates to sales. But what you're saying there, though, as well, Greg, is when you say, oh, you know, you're obligated to push the product and to build hype, you're then effectively becoming a salesman for them. And that's why I didn't do that with D'Agostini, because when they said to me I could say what I wanted within reason, you know, that meant to me that I couldn't say what I wanted to say about the product if it was bad. Which effectively meant that I would effectively what they were getting at was I was a salesman. So if I went in with them for building the Knight Rider, effectively they would send me promotional material, and they wanted me to promote it on all of my social media, and then they would give me a code which then allowed me not to get you a discount, but use this link or this code, so then they could see how much sales was coming from it. Effectively, I was a salesman, and I didn't want that. That's not what I'm about. So, but yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, the Batman Tumbler build is coming along really nicely. I think the next couple of issues are going to be, I think, up to issue 10, which after issue 10 it's weekly in the shops. We're building the left side wheel and housing and stuff like that. So I think we've got the suspension arm, the brake disc, and then the wheel from issue 8, 9, and 10. And then I don't know what we get after that. I'm hoping we'll find out soon. But yeah, from issue 10, it's weekly in the shops. And subscribers should then start receiving 6 issues every 6 weeks. So it starts motoring along after that, which is cool. Yeah, if you think about it, primetime TV ads cost more than 40 seconds when sending 5 people with a large audience a complete build. Yep. It's easy marketing for them, because I think media, social media anyway, in general, it generates loads, doesn't it? So, yeah, but I did find out something from Fan Home, and that was they do have, so D'Agostini have a budget which they are allowed to spend on social media, which is what they call it. So they can send people products. They have a budget. But I did know, but I have been told that the budget in France is a lot bigger, like immensely bigger than the budget for the UK, and they are very, very tight on what they use that budget for. So I believe there's only a few people on their books that they use, But yeah, they can't. The guy that I spoke to said that the budget that they had at Eaglemoss was like 10 times bigger than the budget that they have at Fanhome for social media stuff, for sending stuff to people. So that was interesting as well. I was like, oh right, okay, so maybe that's why there's not a lot of promotional stuff for Fanhome over other ones. Maybe, I don't know, but that's what I was told, that their social media army is a lot smaller than it was than it is over in Europe. So, but everything's becoming more expensive. So, any news on new releases coming up from Fanhome? Only the builds they've already announced. I don't know when the Gauntlet's due, but I know Optimus Prime definitely is due in June. Whether they start shipping out then, I think at the moment you've just registered your interest. I think then maybe the end of June before they start shipping out Optimus Prime. The Enterprise, I know about the Enterprise as well, because obviously I've been keeping an eye on that. So I've been told we should, but no, it's not concrete, but we should hear news about that this month in April. And then I think in April, when we find the news out, that will be when we notify Fanhome of the issues that we need to start from. And then I believe they start shipping out in June for that build. And also as well, it's worth noting that all the new builds coming out, and any new build out from Fanhome, will now be more than 4 issues, either a month or however long. But they won't be sending out the standard 4 like they normally do. I know that's just on their builds. I don't know whether that's on their books or on their figurines and stuff like that, on their busts. But definitely with the part works, I know the Enterprise and the DeLorean are definitely going to be, I think it's 5 or 6 issues a month. And Optimus Prime as well, I think that's going to be 5 or 6 issues a month as well. And I think the Gauntlet is as well. So, like I said, I think the days of us getting 4 issues every 4 months, I think that's kind of gone now. So it will cost us more, but we get more. So it swings and roundabouts. But yeah, that I know that's happening as well. So, like I said, I think going forward, we're definitely going to get a lot more issues per month. Also, as well, I did find out as well that the Lancaster Bomber, when that is due out, and that's the end of the year, I've been told, you know, that it could change. It could change, but at the moment, I've been told that is the 28th of December that comes out. But I may be wrong. I need to double check on that. But it was around. It's just after Christmas, the first Wednesday after Christmas this year. I don't think it's the 28th. Yeah, I know it's not the 28th. But I was told it's the first Wednesday after Christmas that it gets released, and they're going to stagger the release like they have with the Tumbler, and it's going to follow the same delivery pattern. So I think there's going to be a staggered start, and then you'll get 6 issues every 6 weeks if you subscribe. I don't know whether or not they're not going to bring it out in the newsagents or not, so I don't know that. Really want the Star Destroyer to be released. Yeah, I'm very, very surprised about that. Now, when that first come out through DeAgostini, there was it was quite hyped. There was a lot of hype about that, and it did very well on the test run. And I was told the next Star Wars build to come out from DeAgostini was the Star Destroyer, but we have not heard anything. But anything could have happened with that. So you got to think, when they do a lot of these tests, they just test them to see how well they do, and if there's a market for them, and then they go away and do the whole thing. And when they do the whole thing, they then have to get a proper license for it, and then they also do it to see if it's cost effective. So what that might have happened if it hasn't come out would be either 3 things, really. So 1, it didn't do very well in the test run, which I don't think it did. I think it did very well in France, but this was a couple of years ago now. So I don't think it's coming out. they lost the license to do it. We've gone through licensing many times on the channel, or it wasn't cost effective. It's one of the things that I found out over the last couple of years, actually, that when they do the test run, they don't do a cost effective on it until after it's done the test run. So they look at the test run, they go, okay, let's get some final numbers on that. And then what happens is they then decide then whether it's cost effective to do or not. So what they might have done is gone, it would cost too much, because it would cost too much to build, manufacture, the molds, and then how would we stretch that into issues? Do you just get one panel in every issue, which you probably would, but it might mean that they've had to put more money on that, which means it wouldn't be feasible because a lot of people would do it. It means it wouldn't be cost effective. But it's really strange that they don't do any of this work until after the release. They release the test build, the test stage. So yeah, but I believe that when they green light it, it's the process of making the molds and then the full build is quite quick. But it's where the money is. So yeah, Star Destroyers Disney license. So probably no hope on that one. Yeah, I've noticed now. I collect a lot of action figures as well, and I'm quite on the. I get a lot of information from a lot of the toy companies as well, and over the last 3 months, Disney have not been licensing products for the UK. So. Just to give you an example, so there was a lot of figures that were on pre-order that were due to come out in the UK. Super 7, I don't know if you know that company. So Super 7, they created reaction figures, they're called. They're little tiny reaction figures. They look like they're 375 inch figures, like the classic Kenner Star Wars ones, but they're called reaction figures. They've got loads of them everywhere. And there was a lot of planned to come out this year. They're up for pre-order, and over the last month, the ones that have been cancelled for the UK have been Disney product ones. So they have ones with Hasbro and stuff like that. I do Transformers and stuff, but they had a license to bring out. The Simpsons, so they did the first wave here. They're bringing out the second wave of the Simpsons reaction figures in America, but they've pulled the license for them for the UK, which means they're still making them. They just can't sell them in the UK. So you can buy them from the States and ship them in, but they won't be sent here license-wise. And that has happened a lot. Last year, I think McFarlane were going to do a 7-inch gargoyle figure. So the Gargoyles was a cartoon years ago. I don't know if anyone remembers watching it. I do because I'm old. And once again, it's owned by Disney. Once again, the license was sent out to everyone. And just before it was due to be released, the license was pulled for the UK. So once again, it was they were able to license it in America, but they didn't license it for the UK. So meaning Americans got it, but us here in Blighty never did. And it seems to be happening a lot more lately with a lot more of the Disney licensing. I don't know whether they've just thought it's not cost effective. There's no market there for it, so they've just pulled it there instead. It doesn't mean we can't get those sort of things. It just means that retailers over here and distributors don't get them to distribute. So there are other means around it, and there's a lot of other companies that do a lot of other things. But like I said, Mark mentioned a Disney license, so it probably won't happen. They have been putting a lot of stuff, especially from the UK market, for release on figures and stuff with the Disney logo sort of thing. So yeah, it's exclusive to the US, which then pumps prices up, and it means you can't get sort of a full release or whatever. it's annoying when that happens, but it has. But yeah, I was told early last year that the next Star Wars build to come out was the Star Destroyer, but it hasn't. And it was about 2 years ago, I think, when the test was done. So I think that one's dead, pretty much like the Hogwarts Express as well, which is a shame. I think that was released at the wrong time. No fault of Hachette's. I just think when they released it, it was not long after that the poo hit the fan, I should say, in regards to everything with that. And I think companies just got cold feet and just pulled out, which is a shame. But look, anyway, I've been rabbiting on. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll be back next week, and then we should start going up every 2 weeks again. But thank you very much for joining us tonight. I've had a wonderful time being back. Thanks for everyone for commenting and talking and staying and watching. I've been Kev. Thanks for watching the Nexus, and as always, we'll see you at the next video. So take it easy, guys. See you later.